ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another fantastic weekend of Formula 1 racing here on the EGL Extreme Gaming League. I'm Tipsy Bob, and joining me on the mic is my trusty sidekick and my good friend, Dad Bats. Covering all the action today, we're going to be covering everywhere from Monaco, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and Bahrain, all across the world, all across the country. We have a full grid lined up, some of the best talent around the world. We have plucked them from all corners of the earth to give you some of the greatest racing experience footage you'll ever see in your lifetime. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the EGL. We go once and all. The cars are all lining up on the grid. They're all getting ready. The drivers will be focusing on their first corner. Are they going to take it? What are they going to do? Is it going to go deep? Are they going to go? Who knows? The takedown, away we go! DRS is still active, and if Timo wants to get this moved on, he's gonna need to use this DRS zone, because I have a feeling... Oh no, Timo, cancel the first, you're in the traction zone! I tried to round up another overtake on 23 trademark. This is round 3. Off the track! Timo cracks under the pressure once again!
And Timo are oh, he hits the pit! Oh no! Oh my god, this so sorry, control myself. So Timo
So what are we gonna do so they can stand at the back together again? Just like Timo likes it.
how many times? Did you see how many times Timo tried to get into the pit?
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another week of racing here on the Extreme Gaming League channel. We're off to a good start. Actually, Extreme Gaming League channel. And we are here with SLR Tier 1, and we are here in Russia. And we are here with a potential championship decide. I mean, we've anticipated it for quite some time now, because the championship hasn't been that close, but you guys could wrap up the title today here in Sochi, and we'll see how this is gonna play out. And by we, I mean, well, all the viewers, myself, Timo, and Mr. Terra, who's also here. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm pretty good. Yeah, Hugo needs 4th place to wrap up the wrap up the drivers' championship, and that is on the assumption that Copy wins the race and gets fastest lap. Actually, he doesn't need fastest lap, but yeah, certainly top 4 for Hugo wins him the championship with no questions asked and no possibility of any comeback. Yeah, it's not exactly a nail biter. There are 5 rounds to go after this one, but Hugo very consistently this season has been the best driver, and he once again is looking in pretty good shape here. We had a fun Rapid Racers race last night where once again it was Hugo and some idiot contesting the top 2 positions, and I would expect Hugo to be very fast in qualifying here. I would, if he hooks one up and he gets slipstream from Coffee, which he did yesterday, I would expect a mid-29 or thereabouts.
Yeah, his time yesterday was quite insane. It was a 29.5. He himself said that he had gained 1/10 of a second with the slipstream his teammate gave him. I honestly don't really think I would expect a copy to give him slipstream, but even without, you guys should still be maybe on for 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, depends on the day and the form really, and even if it's like not that insane a time, he might still take that pole. He's just that quick, and we'll see how it goes. For now, first 6 laps have been put on the board. 8 now. Astro Boys, the quickest out of those 8 in his Mercedes, 30.6, decent, especially for a banker. So it is a good foundation to build upon in this in these 12 minutes of qualifying that are to come. As WoW takes that temporary top spot right from Astro and gets onto P1 with a 30.3. So we're already getting there time-wise.
Yeah, that's a good lap for this early in the session, 30.3. I would expect, like I say, I would expect another half second at least to come off that for the ultimate pole time. But early in the session, that is a good sign for WoW that he's able to hook that lap together. What was I about to say? I don't remember what I was. Oh yeah, we got a couple of returning drivers to Tier 1, which is good to see. We got Mr. Icewind, who is in P5 in the standings at the moment in the Alfa Romeo. He's done a 30.9. He is back as the Haas's.
Is he back as
I
a
think we're doing
full-timer?
some. I don't know actually. I don't know. He's certainly in this race, which is a good sign. And we have Mr. Bantz as well, who is going to try and better his so far SLR Tier 1 best finish of getting halfway through the race and then retiring, which I believe he did in Canada. So
It was also the
we'll
last
see
one.
if he can manage to do that. Yeah, it was his last race. But he's had, I mean, Bant has always been fast. He remains fast. And he has been doing a little bit more recently. Certainly in 2SRL, he's been finishing some races and getting some good points there.
Has he
So,
though?
yeah, I know he has. He finished.
No,
he finished
unironic.
Hungary.
I don't know. Really?
He finished. What else
he?
did he finish?
Oh, he
he
did
finish Spa? I think he finished Spa. Yeah, he did because he finished ahead of us in Spa.
Yeah, I don't
So yeah,
remember.
like he's been doing some races and finishing some races as well, which is the important thing. So good stuff from Bantz.
Oh.
And he is back, and that is a fast lap early on. Oh, it's going to rain at the end of qualifying, apparently. Oh yeah, a housekeeping note: Fox has a qualifying ban that he, according to the letter of the law, should have served in Singapore, but we were late putting the results out in Singapore. We only did it a couple of hours before, so he serves it in Russia instead.
Which is probably better than serving it at Singapore, but still not the best place to serve a qualifying ban, considering it's an almighty DRS train fest. So it could, like, I mean, this is not gonna be much fun for Fox, but you don't get to pick, so.
Yep,
see.
absolutely right. And with Danny putting that 30.0 in and rain at the end of qualifying, suddenly these second qualifying runs take on a little bit more importance. Hugo is out on a lap right now. He's in the middle of Sector 2.
Oh, that's
he did a
invalid.
0.7 Sector 1. It is invalid because he yoinked to the sausage curb on the inside. It sent him way off to the outside. And Hugo now is under, let's say under pressure, but a little bit of pressure to put a lap in here. It's not very comfortable for him, put it that way. And certainly with the rain potentially coming at the end of the session, he will have time, I'm sure, to do another run. It's still pretty bright out there, but yeah, he needs to hook one up.
Basically, yeah. I mean, as much as I would love to see Yegos slice his way through the field after bad qualifying and somehow still end up on top, I would also like to see him put in like the lap, like the best lap he can. But the thing that caught him out there is a very, very big change to the track at Sochi here. It is that the curbs are now, instead of just being orange marks on the floor, they are like a full 5 centimeters high or something. So driving over them, like it launches you a little bit. So
yeah,
so
they're not exactly iRacing anti-cut Kota curbs, for example. It's many a bunny hop in the LMP1 cars has been done on those curves.
Oh dear.
But,
I'm so sorry,
yeah.
Ocean. I'm so sorry. He probably doesn't remember.
But,
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can run over them, and they're not too bad, but they do push you wide.
Exactly.
Which is what happened to Hugo there.
Yeah, and also you invalidate if you hit them. But honestly, I think the thing that they did the most is make drivers more aware that they can't run off track there, and basically like it's made it so you get less warnings because people want to stay on the track because it's faster. I mean, there's not much time to be squeezed out of taking the curbs if they launch you. That's what I'm trying to get at, and that
exactly.
I think
you can't gain 3/10 by doing it.
Exactly, and
in
that
the way
will
you could in 2019.
probably lead to drivers taking track limits a little bit more seriously and like being more conscious about it, which will also probably lead to less penalties. I think that's a trend I think I saw over Tier 2 and Rapid Racers. I don't think there were as hilarious amounts of penalties as you usually get at Sochi, so I think it's going to be a little bit more on track this week.
Yeah, the top 5 in the Rapid Racers race, none of them got a penalty. I was the first one to get a penalty. In the standings, I was P6, and I got 3 seconds of penalties. And there were a few others that got 3 or 6, or in one case 15 seconds. But yeah, I mean, generally people aren't getting quite so many penalties, and we have a Ferrari 1-2. We got the recycled David, the recycled David Croft joke of stop the count. The Ferraris are 1-2.
What do you mean? It's my joke. It's my joke. I made it first. I don't know if I did it on
Completely
broadcast.
original.
But
yeah, it's that's the situation. We got a Ferrari 1-2.
And,
good luck from Bailey. He's pretty
yeah,
he's pretty confident today, I think. Bailey.
look at the gap between Bailey and Astro. It's,
Oh yeah, wow.
3 cars and
5,000 for the
5,000.
second between second and fourth. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Danny has been elected SLR president. Once again, I'm sorry, Chief, but you gotta go. So, yeah, I mean, what's going on with Hugo and Copy? Hugos is on an outlap, and Copy is on...
Hang on just a second.
on a
Wow,
lap.
on a fast one here, coming right to the end of this lap, and he's not abandoned it, which leads me to think that he might be improving. He is improving,
yes.
and he's knocking right on the door of the 29s, a 30.008.
Yeah, it's a really good time. I mean, there's not a lot of time to be gained from this point. We might still see it happen, but it would have to be an absolutely flawless lap at this point. So wow, getting himself onto P1 provisionally on a track where track limits are a challenge. That's what you want to see.
Yep, absolutely right. Wow, is gotta shake his get that monkey off his back. All of those penalties that he gets in a lot of races. Certainly Russia is a penalty track. Danny on a lap now, heading down the back straight towards the second sector split. He was just barely down on his best time in the first split, and he's up by a tenth and a little bit more in the second split. So this could be our first 29 of the session from Danny. Looked a little bit out of shape in the left hand. It wouldn't have cost him too much time though. Neat and tidy through the very slow left to right. And a big snap of oversteer there, and he's abandoned the lap because of that. That was unfortunate, because that was looking to be a good lap, but just that right-hander at the end of the lap caught him out.
And let's see what Copy can do now. No split times for him, because it's gonna be his first time lapped in this session, and it puts him P3. It's a 30.3 right out the gates. Well, I mean, the first one that he has done that is valid, is what I mean to say. So he's P3 for now. That is a benchmark, and Hugos has invalidated another one. Does he have the time to... Does he even have the time?
Does.
Yeah.
He does. He's got to pit now and then come out for his final run, and there will be pressure on the final run, because that's 3 invalidations for Hugo. That also means he's using all of his soft tyres, but that shouldn't matter too much at all. Tyre wear not really a factor here. So Hugo's going to pit now, and he's going to come out very soon to do his final run, and if he doesn't manage to put a lap in, he's going to be starting at the back of the grid, which will make the, I'm going to say make the championship interesting. It doesn't make the championship interesting, but it makes the issue of whether he's going to clinch it today interesting.
Also, another driver who we would expect in the front is Gary, and he is currently sitting in last, as he has done the same as Yugos, invalidate all his previous runs, and now he is on a lap 32.7. I assume that's quick.
That's decently quick. Yeah, it's not stunningly quick, but decently quick. Through the first sector, he's round the tricky right and the tricky left. He's not run too wide in the left-hander. He's got a car ahead of him, hopefully not too distracting. Brake just before the line here for the right-hander before the back straight. Tipsy gets out of his way. Well done, Tipsy. And he's going to head down the back straight now. He's looking for a high 3 or a mid 3 will put him in very good shape. He does a 4.0, so this is looking sort of around the 3rd to 5th bracket, I would say, as Pretorius goes P3 with a 30.2. That's a good lap from him. Very edge of the track limit there on the outside for Gary, and he got it hooked up very nicely there in the left-hander. A little bit of and he's deciding what? Really? He's deciding to abandon. Can he do another lap? I don't know if he's got time.
No, he doesn't.
That's it's close. Oh no, he does, because the spectator glitch, of course.
Oh.
So he's actually got 3 minutes left in the session. So yeah, he will be able to do another lap almost certainly. But that's a curious decision. He obviously didn't feel that lap was good enough. I suspect it would have put him between Astro and NJJ. Somewhere in that sort of half-second bracket there between the 30.3 and the 30.8, but we will never know.
And look at the sky.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is getting dark, isn't it? I mean, I imagine it's not going to rain enough for it to matter, but certainly, well, I mean, even a little bit of rain matters, though. So yeah, that's a brave decision from Gary. He's obviously backing himself to put a lap in when it matters most. And you have to respect for that. You have to respect that, but certainly it is a risk for him.
I think, well, dry race, by the way, according to Wimpy. I think we should run a lap on board with Yugos here and see if he can do some magic or if he is not going to. Well, and we can... I was gonna say go over the overtaking spots, but there aren't too many, are there? There's like 2.
DRS straights, yeah.
And they are very exciting. So he is getting his tires into the right temperature window, and now he has decided he wants to go last 2 corners to 90-degree right-handers, down to 2nd, and then upshifting to 4th immediately, and now going towards that big front straight with this is officially turn 1, and we will be referring to it as such, even though it is not a braking zone at all. We've seen some carnage there in tier 3, and now heading towards turns 2 and 3, and they are chaotic corners, to be honest. They like remind me of Monza a lot. And I guess this could be an overtaking spot as well, this long turn 4.
Yeah.
Is Copy is actually getting in position for slipstream? No, he's moving aside.
No, I think he. I don't know what happened there. I think that was the intention, but he decided not to. Ultimately, as Hugo does just about stay on track there.
Very nice.
That was good enough through the right-hander. I missed what the first split was. He's very edge again of track limits in the right-hander. Is he gonna run? Oh, just again, very close. He's cutting it very close indeed. Is Hugo here on this run again on the inside there? Just on the very edge, but I think he did hit the curb there a little bit and went out wide, but shouldn't have cost him too much. We're looking again for a mid 3 or a low 3 would be very good. This is 3.8, which is, yeah, it's okay, isn't it? He's got Bance in front of him. Oh, again, very close on the inside there. He's so precise with that, is Hugo. That's one of his main advantages, I think, as Bailey goes P3 with a 30.1. Good lap from Bailey. He's in Bance's dirty air here, which is a problem for him through those last couple of corners. Bance gets out of the way. Through the last 2 corners goes Hugo. Is it going to be a 29? It's not. Is it going to be pole? It's not. It's P3 with a 30.058 as Danny improved a little bit more, but not quite enough to get wow with a 30.008.
Gary might be now. It's 32.8 in the first sector, which is still okay, I guess, but he's made mistake, and there he goes invalid. So Gary's gonna start from the very back of the grid. He should have taken that lap earlier, for sure. But hindsight is 2020, so you know.
Yeah, it was a risk, and the risk did not pay off, and he's going to be starting from the back of the grid, and that's going to be one of the really interesting things about this race. Gary is very fast around here. It is. I can say from experience, as Astro invalidates and crashes in the right-hander, it is, I can say, a pad track, as Copy was right on the edge there, my goodness, through that right-hander. Is Hugo doing... No, he's not doing another lap. So that's the end of Hugo's qualifying session. Copy onto the back straight. Again, we're looking for a split of mid-3 to be competitive right at the very front. This is not that by the looks of it. 3.8, he's a 10th up, so he could improve 1 or 2 spots here. Needs to get the last sector right. You've got to be very early on the brakes, much earlier than you think into this left-hander. Very tight through there. Again, he didn't quite, ran out a little bit wide. Missed the apex
we've
there
got
on the
rain!
right-hander, but
Rain on
it
the
is
last
raining.
corners.
Yeah, that'll be why then.
Yeah, I think
That'll
Bant
be
saves
why. I don't
himself
know if it
across.
slowed him
but-
down.
Oh!
Oh,
Woo!
he does improve to P4. He commits to the accident there, as you have to do on the exit to get the best possible run. Bryce goes P10 as Tipsy goes P11 as he loses a wheel and runs into Copy. Hopefully no penalty for that, because that would be very unfortunate. But that, I think, is our grid. We got Williams 3 and 4, Danny in P2, and Wow with a stunning lap going P1. So yeah, and then the Mercedes boys 6 and 7. Mersu Marku we haven't talked about. He made his debut last week in Singapore. Did pretty well for himself, although he retired late on. But P8 in this session is a good show.
Yeah, what a session indeed. I mean, the top 5 are all, they are all sub 30.2s, and the first 9 are all in the lower half of the 30, so it's been a really competitive qualifying session here. And you love to see it, and we'll see how it plays out in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's certainly in terms of the ultimate pole time, it's not as fast as we were expecting. But yeah, it is extremely close, and there are 1 or 2 surprises. Gary starting at the back is going to be a very interesting one. Certainly Hugo and Copy in P3 and P4 is going to be interesting as well. And a shout out to Tipsy, by the way. That's a very good lap from Tipsy. 30.6. He goes P11, so he's on the alternate strategy pole. Not that that particularly matters here. P11 perfect, says Tipsy, just on cue, just as I'm talking about him. So yeah, he's starting P11. He's going to start on the medium tire, he says. MSOP strat. There we go.
Bant, meanwhile, forgot that he had to turn CRS on. That's fun. What the hell?
What? Okay,
I
imagine. Okay, yeah, on the first straight. I was going to say he didn't do the whole lap.
Yeah.
With no ARS and the 31.1. That would be insane.
Yeah. It would indeed.
That's pretty fun though.
I was I was a little I was wondering how quick he was at first as well, because that would have been absolute alien hours had he done that without any battery like. But okay, so now we know, and we will know if the championship is over in like 27 laps. So it's gonna be interesting. I mean, honestly, at this point, Yugos just needs to have a calm race, stay in that top 4, and let Copy do all the work, and then he is fine. But you never know what happens. I mean, there could be chaos. Copy is certainly gonna fight him as hard as he can.
Yeah, and there's no tension about the ultimate destination of the championship. We know it is going to Hugo. It's a question of when. Copy would need to win almost every race from here on out, and Hugo would need to score almost no points from here on out as well, which isn't going to happen, assuming that something incredibly weird doesn't happen. Like Hugo decides to become a monk or something, I don't know, and retire to a monastery. Copy goes into the hyperbolic chamber for training, something like that.
Sounds about
That's
right.
what needs to happen for Hugo to lose the championship.
They got it on screen, by the way. I think the battle that is more open than the fight for P1 is obviously the one for P2 between, well, Gary and Copy, but Gary on the back foot after, well, not qualifying at all, so he's in P20. And Pretoria is also just about in the mix, so I think this is gonna, like, there's going to be some movement there, and we can also see where Danny and Wow, who lock out the front row today, can still go in this, but the big question
certainly Danny.
is about to
I
be
mean,
answered.
Danny's form recently has been very good. He's on the front row here, and he's been putting in the work and getting fast as Danny. So I would expect a surge from him.
So, everyone on softs except Tipsy, Bance, and Granat. So we'll see how they will do in this race. I think the basic calculation is, on softs you're basically ready for a safety car at any point in the race. You can make it to the end, lap 2 or lap 1,
Yeah.
safety car, and on the mediums, the calculation is if you can hang with the soft runners for the entire first stint, you are about as fast as them, and then you get your own softs in the second stint, and then you can start attacking the people on slower tires. So it's like Tipsy, Bance, and Granat are gonna pray for no safety cars in the first stint, and if that happens, then they are in a good position, and if there's a safety car, they might be in trouble. So that's the calculations and strategy ahead of this race, and we've got an incredibly long run towards turn 1 here. We've got WoW on pole position, and Danny in the Ferrari next to him will try and attack him, and you might get some slipstream here. And we go green and rush, and it looks like a good start from WoW. From where I am sitting here is already well ahead of Danny here, and Copy's already put ahead of Yugos, and Yugos is under attack from Bailey. Tops already into 5, they get close to the wall there. Car starting to the inside, that is Copy maybe having a look collision between the teammates, and Bailey Tops is sent into the wall. He's lost his front wing. Copy, I think, broke himself and Yugos broke himself
It's
and ran
Danny
into
in
Copy.
the wall. It's Danny in the wall facing the wrong way. Hugos is facing the wrong way as well. Yeah, it was Hugo. I don't know whether he got hit from behind, but certainly he hit the back of Copy and sent him into Danny, and Danny got spun around. So Danny, we have a VSC, so no full safety car. Danny does not appear to have damage. Hugo certainly does. But a K at the beginning of this one in Russia, because you mentioned the run to turn 1. It was Hugo and Bailey side by side, and there was almost a big crash between the two of those. And then the crash happened a little bit later with, I think Astro Boys did hit the back of one of the Williams. We're racing again.
Yeah, and now we've got those two at the very back, and someone's out, that's Basco. Basco, I wonder if we're gonna go from VSC to SC in 1 lap. Doesn't look like it's fun, but we'll see. WoW is still leading. Then we've got Bailey in P2, then a decent gap to Pretorius as we've lost Yugos, the leading drivers. And now Copy is in that, well, opportunity to prolong the fight for 1 more round. As Bailey dives into the pit lane, and so does Copy. Oh yeah, both of them got wing damage, I think.
They must have damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and that's an interesting decision. Yeah, I wonder if they'll put the hards on. NJJ pitting as well. So yeah, Copy's race is certainly compromised. I was just about to mention that Copy had a pack of wool pounding the back of that Williams, and I was wondering why, but he answered. Side of Tipsy.
It's
It's dead, says Jensen. Yeah, does not work. Yeah, getting...
Does any... I'm restarting. Like my OBS, where it gives you the feedback on if it's running, says stream quality is good. It says me I'm updating exactly as much as I usually do.
And it doesn't say anything about losing frames or anything.
No, it doesn't. 0% drop frames.
Weird. What did the stream do? Was it just poor quality or what? I didn't check.
Now it works for me, at least, says Trevor Linden. I'm gonna... Well, maybe it dies again in a minute.
Okay,
but
I see it. I see it.
Let's carry on for like a minute now and see if it works.
Alright.
Okay, so we're back, but it's laggy, isn't it? Like, it looks laggy to me. Maybe that's just me.
No, it's completely smooth to me.
Oh, I'm
so
watching 30 FPS.
We're gonna go under the assumption that it's working. Thank you to everyone for your patience. We haven't moved on very much in terms of the race. From where we left off, we had the runners who pitted as Bailey gets 3 seconds. He's the lead runner who pitted at the end of lap 1 after those incidents. All 5 of those cars are at the back of the field, and in some cases, some distance at the back of the field. Hugo certainly needs a safety car. There's no doubt about that. He's 52 seconds off the lead of the race. Somebody who is making moves, though, is Icewind. He has made his way past Justin in the last couple of laps, and he is homing in now on the back of Pretorius. He's just done the fastest lap of the race. He is on a major charge and is looking for a good result here.
Yeah, he is absolutely... oh my god, flying! I thought he was gonna fly towards the wall there. But it's just Icewind. I mean, I think he drives oversteery setups in general, and driving behind him, you always think he's gonna lose it, but he doesn't, and then it's fine. So, he's absolutely reeling in Pretorius right now. He is well within the DRS range, and Pretorius is way too far from WoW to be able to defend with DRS. It's 4.2 seconds between P1 and P2. I just wonder how far Icewind can go and if he can keep this up. Also, other drivers we should mention probably are, well, Tipsy for one, because he's in P7 on the reverse strategy. He has his quick stint yet to come, and he's hanging on for dear life in that DRS of Mersumaku, who is himself getting stuck behind Bryce Evolution, but maybe will make a move now on the second straight, and he brakes really late, almost hits the back tire of Bryce Evolution, goes off track, but he's gonna keep the position, I think, as he's got the inside for the left-hander, and that is a done move, and they both lost so much time that Tipsy's now comfortably back into the DRS window, so he can leech off that a little longer and go from there. Gary is getting stuck in that DRS train as well. He doesn't find the way past Tipsy yet, even though he should be faster on this first stint on the
Gary,
soft
of course,
tires.
from the very back of the grid. And Icewind now on Pretorius around the outside. Very easy move into turn 1, and Icewind, I didn't mention at the time when I was talking about him a moment ago, he gets certainly a warning for that. That'll be a second warning of the race so far. But Icewind, of course, started on fresh softs. He started outside the top 10, did Icewind. So certainly he's putting those fresh tires to good use and making moves in the race so far. Gary, another one, of course, on fresh tires, but he is stuck in this train. There's 3 cars ahead of him. One of them is Tipsy on mediums. Tipsy is in line for a very good result here if he can just keep it steady.
Yeah, it very much looks like it. Also, just another technical update. Like, I have the stream on my second screen, and it looks laggy to me. So if it is, please tell me in chat. Thank you. But no complaints so far, so we're gonna go under the assumption that everything is fine. 4.5 seconds between WoW and Icewind. That's P1 and 2, and we're gonna keep an eye on that gap to see how it develops in those last laps of that first soft stint before both of them are gonna pit onto the medium tires eventually. We're gonna see how it goes. As Icewind goes a little bit deep, makes a mistake, and I wonder if that has actually opened him up for an attack for Pretorius. That's 4/10. I wonder if he would go for it. He's got well more battery, but honestly, if I was him, I would just like hang with him a little bit and save that battery.
Yeah, I think I would do the same, and I think he's taking that approach as well. As Gary pits very early, so he's going for the undercut there onto the medium tires and putting them on nice and early, I would have thought, to get to the end of the race. As WoW is about to mention that WoW's on 2 warnings, and there is his first penalty, so we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, 3 seconds for him at the moment. He leads by 5 seconds, but certainly he doesn't want to be picking up penalties in the course of his normal driving, as Gary does indeed put the medium tires on. He comes out behind Bailey, though, albeit with quite significantly fresher tires.
Yeah, and Bailey is gonna... I mean, Bailey is going to make it to the end, presumably, unless he absolutely destroys those tires.
Well, I don't know. It's close. It was close yesterday for me. It was close for some idiot as well, who was in P1 on the mediums, and that was with 2 laps of safety car running. So I think for a lot of these guys that pitted lap 1 and are doing full race laps the whole time, I think it will be close. I think you do have to save in that case.
I guess. Someone's dead, and it's Bajan, I think. Yes, Bajan, who's round on the entry to the back straight. I thought it was well for a second.
Oh man,
but
huge damage to the front wing.
Yeah, that one is absolutely dead. I assume he got a snap of oversteer and tried to correct it, steered right into the wall to the left, so that is what I would expect.
Excuse me, sorry, Danny making moves, making his way past Bryce. He didn't get damage, of course. He went to the back of the field after that first lap crash, but didn't get damage, and he is making his way through the field pretty
Oh,
well now, as
Bryce.
Bance also passes Bryce. Yeah, so Bance around the outside into. Into
Bryce!
turn 2 was Bryce. Oh, breaks too late, and wow, he did very well to avoid an accident there, did Bryce. I'm sure he didn't mean to go for that move. He was just trying to get out of the way and avoid rear-ending Bance. That was very good evasive driving from Bryce, and an accident is averted. But Bance does get the position. He's another one in a very good position in this race, in P8 on the medium tyres, and he'll be fast in the second stint on the softs.
And Danny is now looking very hungry for that P6. He's got the Renault right ahead of himself, and he's got the DRS zone coming up after just one right-hander. Needs to line Tipsy up here and get a good exit. I don't think he's close enough unless he wants to empty all his battery, but at the other end of that back straight, Pretorius has reclaimed P2, and actually Danny is gone for for the position on Tipsy, so I assume Tipsy didn't boost at all, or Danny boosted a lot. Potentially even both. Also Fox making a move on Bryce, so loads of overtakes happening here, but Bryce...
Fox and Bryce are still fighting, yeah.
He's
Fox
hanging on.
on the inside of the left-hander. Bryce not giving it up, though. Trying to go around the outside, and he hangs it around the outside there as we lost Bailey momentarily there. Don't know exactly why. I think it was a disconnect of some description, as Pretorius and Icewind from P2 and P3 both pit.
Yeah, Pretorius had... Oh wait, Icewind got Pretorius again? But Pretorius was ahead temporarily.
No. Icewind stopped in his pit box, and now he's coming out, and he's behind Pretorius. Yeah, I missed that move as well. It was down the back straight into Sector 3, and Pretorius obviously feeling that he was being held up enough by Icewind to make a move. He had a lot more battery, as we noticed, as Bryce gets himself a 3-second penalty. That could be a big deal towards the end of the race.
Yeah, it could very well, and I mean... This is a very important battle because they were in effectively P2 and P3 in this race, and with WoW stacking up, well, potentially, not yet, but stacking up penalties. He's got 3 seconds so far. Maybe they could be in a really good position for the win, certainly for a podium, and it is important between the two of them who is going to finish ahead. For now, the intervals are not updated, but I would assume Icewind surely has DRS, so they're gonna stick to each other for a few more laps, and then maybe one of them can either try to escape or overtake the other.
Yeah, Tipsy, I keep mentioning Tipsy, but he is in a very good position. He doesn't have a warning. Bance behind him has 3 seconds of penalties as WoW pits from the lead. I don't think there's any prospect of any sort of an undercut for Icewind and Pretorius. And Justin pits as well from P2. Mersumaku also pits from P3. Danny stays out, so Danny assumes the lead of the race, at least temporarily. Astro getting 3 seconds. But yeah, Tipsy, no penalties, or no warnings rather. And that puts him in such a good position as we come to the second half of this race.
I wonder though if Bance is going to try and overtake him here, because Tipsy does not have any DRS, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. They've been teammates in 2-0 for ages, and now Tipsy giving way to Bance, sort of. Also, I think Granite is spun in the last sector. He's got his car in the right way. He doesn't have any damage, but it has cost time.
Yeah, he was another one in a good position starting on the mediums. There hasn't been a safety car, so... Well, there hasn't been a safety car yet, I should say, as Icewind gets 3 seconds, and that is a big deal, because Icewind, with those 3 seconds now, falls behind Pretorius, who's only on 1 warning, and I think he's now level with WoW in terms of penalties as well, so Icewind needs to keep it clean and needs to hang with Pretorius. He seems, I think, easily able to do that on the medium tyre. It's just a question of making sure he doesn't pick up those penalties.
Yeah. Really good spot for him, the gap between Pretorius and WoW. 6.3 seconds. I mean...
Yep, WoW is on course. I don't want to jinx him too much, but certainly at the moment he is in the best position in this race. Pretorius and Icewind behind certainly have good pace, but I think WoW has better pace. And yeah, that's the position that those guys are in. Behind those 3 is Justin on the same strategy, a 1.5 seconds behind Icewind. He, I think, is desperately trying to get back into Icewind's DRS as Fox pits. And I'm sure Danny will pit soon, and then we have a real stop the count moment with Bance and Tipsy. Oh, Tipsy going for a move here, and he's going to have a look around the outside of Bance, having a little bit of a scrap here, the two. Two SRL teammates. And costing themselves a decent chunk of time. Don't want to be doing this too much.
Oh, Tipsy easing off on the steering there, knowing he doesn't get a warning if he doesn't drive off with too much speed. So, yeah, I mean, I would assume they would just hang together from now on and like try and drag each other through this race. I don't think there's much point for Tipsy to fight Bance too much unless he's getting held, and I don't think he is. Because Bance has got that penalty, and if Tipsy doesn't let him escape, then he's going to finish ahead. Especially as Bance, well, we know from being in VC with him, usually doesn't care too much about, like, driving ultra-conservative to keep those warnings down. Now on the backstraight, Tipsy getting a good bit closer to Bance, but not close enough to make a move. He would have needed to invest more battery in that. But that would have been pointless, so wasn't expected, didn't happen. Yeah, 5/10, I would assume that's where the gap is going to stay. Danny finally dives into the pit lane from the lead of this race, and yeah, I mean, not the best first stint, but it was probably not down to him. I haven't really seen that that turn 2 crash properly again, but he was probably an innocent bystander. Qualified really well in P2 and had to recover in his first stint, and now he's got some work to do in the second one as well. We'll see from where he can start that work, and I assume it is going to be around where Copy is, but on better tires, so that's how they meet again. Yeah, so. It's behind Mersumaku, Bailey Thompson, and yeah, Mersumaku and Bailey Thompson. Mersumaku gets squeezed towards the wall there from Bailey. I don't know how that happened. He tried to go for a gap that was probably that Bailey was closing, so that looked really spooky. Both of them darting towards the other side of the track after that happened, and they remain in their current running order with Danny on fresher tires coming up towards their backs now.
Oh, Icewind with another penalty. They swap positions on the front straight, the two of them, Icewind and Pretorius, and Icewind obviously trying reasonably hard, but yeah, getting himself another penalty in the process. Up front, WoW has almost caught Bance and Tipsy, and he's going to have to make his way past the two of them. I don't expect either of them to particularly get out of the way of WoW.
Yeah, they're kind of known for that.
Yeah, not quite close enough down the back straight.
NJJ with another penalty. And Fox and Copy are fighting, and Fox comes out on top. He's got that, he's got that big tire gap.
Big scrap here between the two Ferraris and the Red Bull of Mersumaku. Mersumaku up the inside of Bailey. In the left-hander, does manage to squeeze him out there, and Danny is being held up big time here by these two as Bailey jumps out of the way. Danny almost at the back of him. Don't know how much communication there was there between the two of them, but Danny now can get on with his race and can potentially overtake Mersumaku here down the front straight as we have a bunch more positions swapping. WoW passing Tipsy, and Pretorius once again taking that what is now P4 on track from Icewind.
And now Danny takes the second one. First he took Bailey, and now Mersumaku, so relatively clean navigation through that gaggle of fighting cars as Bailey 7 turns behind Mersumaku, struggling to hang on because he has got that tire disadvantage. Yugas has also passed NJJ and is now coming up towards Astro Boys and Granat Garan, all of them with worn tires. Yugo's tire wear is not going to be the biggest problem. His biggest problem is likely going to be that he has got hard, and well, not very hard is the move that WoW had to complete to take the lead of this race back from Bance, who of course is on 13 double tires, so there was no resistance to be had there. Wasn't going to happen.
Bance and Tipsy still in a very good position. They're going to come out at the moment somewhere around where Danny is.
Yeah.
After pitting for the soft tyres. They'll lose a little bit more ground likely on the mediums, but certainly they'll be much faster in the second stint. So certainly good points on offer for both Bance and Tipsy here. As Tipsy tries to stay in DRS, I don't think he quite has, so that's bad news for Tipsy, and Bance will welcome the opportunity, I think, to stretch his legs. Icewind fairly close to the back of Pretorius, not close enough to think about a move down the front straight. Fox and Bailey fighting. What happened to Bailey?
Oh, he's pitting.
That's what happened. Bailey disappeared for a moment, and that was why.
And Yeah, Tipsy 1.3 behind Bans now. He needs to boost to get back into that window, but well, with what battery? He's got none compared to Bans, and now staying within 3 seconds is just got a little bit harder because he doesn't have the battery to do it. He needs to actually outdrive him as well. Gets himself a second penalty, which is still like just about fine, but we're getting. Like, it's getting too close for comfort, I would assume.
Well, it's fine, assuming there's not a safety car. If there's
Yes.
a safety car, it's a complete disaster. As Bantz gets himself a second penalty as well, so Tipsy won't mind too much that he's not able to stay in the DRS of that McLaren. He won't like it, of course, but certainly he's not going to lose too much sleep over the fact that he is now out of DRS. As we're getting towards the sort of point where the medium runners like Tipsy and Bantz, in fact, it's only those two, isn't it? And Granat, who's towards the back of the field. We're getting towards the point where those two are going to think about switching to soft tyres. They can do probably 11 or 12 laps, can the softs, and they are faster than the mediums pretty much through the whole stint. So, yeah, we're getting to that point.
We're also getting to that point of the lap where we have got our mandatory swap of position for P4. Between Pretorius and Iceman, and you can see Pretorius very much holding on for dear life there in that fight. Totally not giving it to Iceman. Oh wait, he did. Iceman still breaks too late into the corner though. Might have caught a warning there. Interesting that he went for that move because he's got like no battery to hold it. I think the better move would just be to stay behind and recharge your battery. Actually, what has Pretorius got? Pretorius got 30%. Iceman's got 10. So. Yeah.
Yeah, Icewind got one of those penalty +4 warnings as well, and he did get a warning for that on turn 1. So I wonder if that's a bug for Icewind. Don't exactly know. I've not seen another penalty flash up though, so maybe not. Maybe that's just a weird spectator glitch or something like that, as Justin gets himself 3 seconds as well. He's still gamely hanging on to the back of that little battle group and trying for all he's worth to get DRS. He's got some battery to use as well, so he might actually get DRS here very soon on these two.
Pretorius doesn't fancy going past, but that was, you could tell he was getting spooked for a second. I thought he might run into the back of Iceman, which would be a disaster for both of them. Likely front wing damage, but he doesn't. He avoids by locking those brakes. So,
Van's pitting.
Yeah, and Tipsy stays out for one more, so Van's covering the undercut here. And between those two, it comes down to how Tipsy can do on this lap. He's been saving some ERS now, 30% left in that charge, and going for softs on the next lap, I assume, for a sprint towards the end. Exciting race so far from him, and I wonder where he can go without penalties. Like, it's looking really good, but I'm not trying to jinx too hard. Someone's dead, and that's a Ferrari. I think that's Bailey. Yeah, it's Bailey. And
yeah, Bailey's race has gone wrong. That looks like... Is that hardware? Looks like hardware issues to me.
Well,
he's stopped by not the pit wall, the back straight wall.
That is danger for a safety car, isn't it? Like,
it could well be a safety car. He's moving now.
Is this
so
retired,
and he retires on track. So what are we going to see here? Is this going to be?
Oh wow, it's shaking right now.
Is this going to be a safety car? We have local yellows at the moment only. As Bajan retires as well. Where did that happen? That's in the pits.
No, wait.
No, it's not in the pits.
2 on
it's
track.
Before the pits. So we got 2 retirements on track. Didn't see what happened to Bajan, but again, we don't have any sort of a safety car. And in the case of a safety car, this is very good news for Tipsy, of course.
Wow, is the luckiest man alive.
Yeah, no safety car, and that rarest of things. It's a day of rare things, but the rarest of things.
Yeah.
Maybe the rarest thing of all, a Hugo's 3-second penalty as Tipsy pits.
Yeah. I mean, Tipsy would genuinely be in the lead of this race had the safety car come out now, I think. Or would he?
I don't think so, but
no, actually
he
not
would
because
have gained places.
Okay, no, not actually because on the first lap people can still drive their normal pace, but yeah.
Yeah, but he would have been on fresh softs
and without penalties.
Yeah, without penalties. So, yeah, Tipsy would have been in a very good spot as Bantz goes down the front straight. He's going to be quite significantly ahead of Tipsy. The question is whether Copy is going to be ahead of Tipsy as well, and the answer is yes, he will, along with Bryce, quite some distance ahead. In fact, as Bryce passes Copy P10.
I think Tipsy might have overdone it with staying out here. His gap to Bance is... wait, it's huge. What happened? That's absolutely insane. What's that gap?
What is it? 4.5 seconds. Well, it was over 3 when they pitted. So yeah,
Was it?
Just over a second on the undercut. That sounds about right to me. As Icewind with his his third penalty, which means 9 seconds. We'll just keep an eye on that because that's a penalty plus 4 warnings is suspicious to me. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that he got 4 warnings genuinely in a lap. You can do it quite easily around Russia, but it's also possible that he got that bug. So it may be that 3 of those seconds are taken off.
Potentially. We will need to wait and see for, well, the end of the race, and then to reports channel, but for now I think we're gonna treat it as if it is a legit one. So,
yeah. And the 9 seconds I think will drop Icewind back down behind Gary at least, into P5 at the moment. Gary has played himself into contention here. He's driven a very good race from the back of the grid, and he's up to P5 with only the 3 seconds worth of penalties. Just going to check the penalties here. Pretorius doesn't have a penalty, and WoW has 6 seconds at the moment, as Bance does the fastest lap of the race as you would expect. On the fresh soft tyres, he's going to get, I think, Mersu Marku down the back straight of this lap, maybe even before then.
Yeah, he's gonna catch up rapidly. That soft tire grip is so insanely high. And now, yeah, one gap to keep eyes on is that one between P1 and, well, P3, but actually P2 if you count in penalties. It's been consistently 9 seconds here between WoW and Icewind, and then 6 tenths more to Pretorius. So all Pretorius needs is, well, 3.6 seconds, which is quite a lot considering he would have to close in on WoW, but or a third penalty for WoW, and then he would be in very good contention for this race win. Bance is now caught up to Mersu Marku as expected, and he opens that wing, and I don't think there's much Mersu Marku can do about that one. Oh, Bance! He waits way too long! You have to drive around the car!
What are you doing,
Oh, he drives
Bance?
into him!
Oh my goodness me, he drives into the back of Mersu Marku for no reason at all, and around the outside into Sector 3, and it doesn't look like Bance got damage from that, but my goodness.
Yeah.
That was a scary moment for Bance.
I didn't mean to steal your comment, but you know you have to drive around the car when
Yeah.
overtaking him. And Tipsy drives around the car, and the car is Bryce Evolution, and I think he clipped him because Bryce lost so much time there that he dropped to copy as well. So copy P11 now. Still not where it needs to be to keep this fight alive on paper, but
yeah, and 3 more seconds for Bance puts him back behind Tipsy again with the battle of those two, and Tipsy has lost a bit more time. I'm not exactly sure what's happening with Tipsy. He needs to pick up the pace a little bit if he possibly can. He's got Mersu Marku and Fox ahead of him, both of whom are, I would say, within reach.
yes. What's the
Keeping an
penalties
eye
for
on
Mersu
WoW's-
Marku? Because I think Fox has got a load of penalties. But
Okay, so Mersu Marku has 1 penalty and 1 more warning as well. And Fox has... Fox only has the same, actually, so that is a straight
really?
fight between those two on track. Yeah,
Oh,
both 3 seconds worth of penalties.
oh wow, I'm actually okay. I thought I saw multiple for him. Also, add to the front, 9.4 seconds between WoW and Iceman right now. WoW is stretching his legs nicely. I hope he actually can't be aware of Pretorius' penalty situation unless he does have a race engineer, which I don't think he does, so he does know how much he needs to push for this. He just knows he's got 6 seconds, the gap behind is 9.3, for Pretorius it's 10, so...
yeah, and
now
WoW is
someone
1 more
giving us
warning away
Granat.
as we've...
Oh,
lost
Granat!
yeah.
Yeah, and he drives into the wall again, and
Did he spin while recovering from his spin?
yes.
It's
Like cooked
unfortunate
tires.
for Granat. Yeah, his race has fallen apart a little
Gary.
bit. Unfortunately, Gary passed Justin, yeah.
Great
that's,
drive from him as well, like from P20 to P4 right now. And now 2.9
stuff from
seconds.
him.
Does he have penalties? I don't know if you said it.
He has... I believe he has 3 seconds worth of penalties, and yes, he does. But he doesn't have any more warnings beyond that, so we're looking like 3 seconds only for Gary, and that certainly puts him ahead of Icewind. So at the moment he's, I believe, on track for a podium But I was going to mention that WoW is on, I don't know if I did mention, but he's on 2 more warnings. So he's close to his third 3-second penalty, which would put him not quite behind Pretorius, but certainly within striking range, because the gap at the moment is almost exactly 10 seconds between those two.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite iconic. I mean, this is the race that looks like it is just like meant for WoW to win, and the one thing that could hold him back is his infamous Achilles heel of track limits. So that's gonna be an interesting fight, him against the white lines.
Absolutely right. As Bryce on copy on those very old tires, and worth mentioning, by the way, I mean, I'm sure everyone has worked this out in chat for themselves, but it's looking almost certainly like Hugo is going to be crowned champion in this race, despite being all the way down in P13 with no real prospect of, well, many points. I don't want to say any points, because he could snatch P10 or something like that, but he's not going to get any points, but neither is Copy by the looks of it, so it looks like we are going to get the championship decided today, and it is going to be with 5 races to spare in favor of Hugo.
Which is, I'm pretty sure a record. I mean, I know Speedy was relatively dominant. No, Speedy got a 2 to go against Bailey, because Bailey crashed in Brazil.
Yeah.
So no, that's not comparable.
It wasn't as dominant as this.
That's not comparable. Season 1 was also was relatively early, but not that early. I think it was like 3 races or 4 something. And we know that Season 2 went down to the wire in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is very, I'm very sure it's the record, but I don't know about how much.
Yeah, I think it is as well. Let's just keep an eye on this gap between WoW and Pretorius, because it's getting closer to that 9-second gap. A reminder that WoW at the moment has 6 seconds worth of penalties, but also 2 more warnings. So 1 more warning will see him pick up his 9 seconds, and in that case, Pretorius is very close indeed to the back of that Alpha Tower, even though he's some way behind on the road. Pretorius still only with the 1 warning, so the winner of this race isn't quite decided yet. WoW certainly in the box seat, and there it is! As I'm talking about it, so 9 seconds for WoW,
Got him.
and we have a race in this last 5 laps. I wonder how aware, I'm sure Pretorius will be aware, if he's not aware,
Astro!
Very shortly.
Sorry. I thought there was something going to happen as Astro and JJ are fighting for P15. Yeah, Jensen's comment didn't age well. He was explaining WoW's drop in pace with WoW making sure he doesn't get a 3rd pen, but WoW just wanted to deny that instantly, and did so quite effectively. So, well, at least now, if he doesn't pick up 3 more warnings, he can push towards the end and try and, not drop 8/10 to Pretorius. And indeed, since he picked up that warning, I think he's gotten a little quicker. So it's probably like a mental thing, knowing you can push again.
Well, I mean, as long as he doesn't pick up 3 more warnings.
Yeah, exactly,
That's the only
yeah.
thing I would say, because it's certainly possible to do that in Russia in 4 laps. As
Happened to me in
Bance
the
with
past.
12 seconds now, he's in danger of knocking himself out of the points completely here with all of these penalties as Bance. P7 on the road, but certainly behind at least Tipsy and Mersu, Marku and Fox as well, I believe. So he's at best P10 right now. Tipsy, on the other hand, at the moment I think is a net P7, and I think that might be the limit of his ambition in this one, because Danny is a long way up the road with, I don't know how many penalties Danny has, but it's certainly not more than 3 seconds, so he's okay for the time being. But Tipsy on course for some very good points in this one, as long as he doesn't trip over those 2 Red Bulls that are in front of him.
Yeah, and it's been a really consistent showing for him. I think his second stint has not been as explosive as I would have expected, but I think it's just he lost a little bit of time getting stuck behind Bryce and Copy, and then he also stayed out a lap too long, and then maybe he's just not pushing as hard right now. It reminds me of my reverse strategy races where the first stint sets you up for a really promising race, and the second stint it's just not quite as good as it could have been. But saying that, I'm not trying to dampen the spirits here, he's still probably on for P7 as we lose Granat once again.
Yeah, Granat
and he loses
doing
his
the
wing.
big,
Oh,
doing the
VSC.
big spinella. Oh, we have a VSC. Does this matter? Probably not, right?
No, I don't think anyone's gonna
Probably
pit.
not.
No one with a shot.
The restart might shake things up a little bit. If people lose or gain time on the restart, that might matter a lot. But at the moment, that's going to at least neutralize the race for the time being. Nobody's going to pit 4 laps from the end of the race.
Also worth mentioning, WoW can push a good bit after the safety car has restarted, because he's got 40% more on the battery. There's only 3 laps to go, as WoW and Copy having fun under VSC, overtaking each other like normal people. Oh,
Bryce and Copy, right?
yeah. What did I say?
Have they got? Is there some sort of illegal overtake shenanigans going on here?
I think there is. Yeah.
Yeah,
One of
I
them
think
is
there
going to
must
get
be.
a penalty. And
Yeah,
Hugos
well, I mean,
doesn't.
they shouldn't worry about this penalty because it's going to be taken off.
Yeah.
We don't care about these penalties at all.
Oh,
Nobody's going to
Hugos.
pit again, as yeah. Well, I mean, oh dear, as these two can't manage to sort it out, and that yeah, look at the gap between WoW and Pretorius. Suddenly it's close. Suddenly it's 9 seconds.
Oh dear, so Pretorius is actually in
Pretorius in the net lead of the race right now. Yeah, he got a better restart than WoW did, and he's got that DRS of Icewind. He's going to hope that Icewind can pedal that Alfa Romeo around as fast as he can. We're right on the cusp here between these two drivers, and I'm just wondering what the penalty situation is. Granat does retire.
Oh, he's...
Pretorius did pick up his second warning as well, so...
He's pushing so hard.
Right on the margins,
He's just dropped out again. It's 9.4, and you can see Icewind and Pretorius are all over the place with their acceleration. They both know they need to go now. Icewind now 9 seconds behind him, and Pretorius might be gaining through ERS, but he's also losing through getting held up, I think, at this point. I don't know how quick Icewind is, but it looks like he is... fighting this real hard, and I don't think Pretorius, like I think Pretorius not having fresh air is actually like it's a net negative if you count the DRS in. And
with the dirty air, I don't know. Yeah, Pretorius is very eager to get past. You can see the urgency suddenly in his driving with 2 laps to go as they cross the line, and I imagine that Pretorius is going to be trying to get a run out here at the last corner and doing his level best, and he is close enough, so he will be passed down this front straight. He's going to use well, most of his battery, not even all of it, because Icewind was saving as well. And Pretorius now, it is a straight fight between these two. Pretorius does not have warnings in hand though. 9.2 is the gap. He needs to make up about a quarter of a second in these last 2 laps to win this race.
Yeah, and it's gonna come down to time penalties. In qualifying, I tried to outline this race and thought this was not gonna happen, but that's where we are right now. 9.2 seconds, 2/10 between those two, and someone's got, oh, that's Justin almost hitting the wall on rejoin them. Gonna keep it on the leader gap so we can look at it. Oh, actually he's past him, I don't need to. So 9.2, oh, and there it all goes.
There's the penalty.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think WoW knows about this, but this makes it a lot easier, but he still can't pick up another one, because in that insane case Gary would win the race. And actually, Gary is in P2
right
now.
No, Gary has 3 seconds.
Oh, true, I forgot.
I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, Gary doesn't win the race.
Yeah.
But certainly, at the moment, WoW,
Johnson.
it did pick up a warning this lap. So
Hugos and Copy, the 2 championship rivals, are fighting it out for P11. Let's go. I didn't think it would end like this, but Hugos now getting passed by Bryce once again. Yeah, they were running side by side through Sector 2 there. And, now Hugos in P13 again. I mean, this is just about making a statement. This doesn't have any impact. There is no chance that Copy is going to keep this one going for one more round. Bryce passes Copy as well to Williams in 1 sector. So P11 for Bryce now. I don't think any one of them is going anywhere. 23 laps mediums for Copy, 23 laps hards for Hugos. Both of them should be really slow. The gap is insanely big to the top 10, so they are not going anywhere points-wise.
Yeah, I don't think they are either, and nobody's got enough penalties for that to matter at all. Tipsy needs to get a move on here on this last lap if he's going to get Mersu Marku for P7, what will be P7, because Vance is going to fall behind. Fox has 3 seconds as well. The gap at the front now, 10 seconds between WoW and Pretorius, and I'm just going to double-check the warning situation, and yeah, WoW has not picked up any more. So last lap of the race, WoW is going to win by the looks of things. Pretorius gave it a shot, but not quite close enough come the end of the race.
Actually gonna have a quick look. Okay. I just wanted to know who won this race last year, because Wowers won quite a few races last season, but he didn't win any this time, and this looks like it is going to break with that as no, that was just the interval, being funny. Pretorius and Icewind not moving, but coming around the last corner, Wow takes victory with 9 seconds of time penalties. I mean, it's been quite the lonely run for him, but it's still been exciting. Pretorius comes across 4.7 the gap in the end. Gary jumps up to 3rd. Justin is 4th for the time being. There goes Danny. Up to P4.
Oh, Danny got Justin, wow.
Yeah, and that was quite close between those 3 from P3 to P5, actually. Vance P7 for now. Mersumark are gonna come across the line, takes P7 for the moment. Fox, where is Fox? Behind Tipsy, and...
yeah, Tipsy just lost
Tipsy
out
8.
to Mersumarku. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite close that gap in time, so he finishes P8. Still an excellent drive from Tipsy and also from Bance as well, despite all of those penalties, managing to get himself into the top 10 with some very good points. Copy and Hugo, as you mentioned, P11, P12, not P1 and P2 as they have been for most of the season, but P11 and P12. But Hugo is confirmed as the SLR Tier 1 Season 5 Drivers Champion.
Right, I knew that was something I should mention across the line. Goddamn, yeah, he puts himself there with... I am blanking. Julian? No.
Julian last season, right?
Yeah, Julian did win. He didn't win to SLR, but he won here. Right, so he puts himself onto the list with Julian, Speedy, Copy, and Ednick. I got them all.
There you go. That's impressive memory from Timo. I couldn't have done that. But yeah, fantastic drive. All season from Hugo. He didn't really get a chance to show what he could do today through, I think, no fault of his own. I'm not exactly sure, but certainly...
Yeah, I'm going to have another look now.
We'll have to have a look at that afterwards, but yeah, fantastic driving all season from both him and Copy, actually. Copy, no points today, but yeah.
I'm so sorry to tell you, but I think it was Hugo's fault. He just broke himself.
Oh, did he? Wasn't hit from behind? Okay. In which case, yeah, it is Hugo's fault.
Oh, also Danny. Okay, never. I thought for a second it was Danny's fault and he spun on his own, but he didn't. He got. So basically, Hugo's hits Copy in the back, and Copy first goes to the left, putting Bailey into the wall, which is why I was thinking Bailey was dead. And then Copy slides on into Danny, sending Danny around. So. That's how all of that went down. So now we can look at.
Okay. Well, I'd like to announce that the FIA has declared that the penalty for a first lap accident here in Tier 1 is going to be 150 championship points.
Yep. It is true.
So we got a championship again, folks. Now.
Yeah. Finally, we get to be excited in the commentary again. One thing though, the driver of the day.
Yeah, I was thinking about this.
Well, I have I'm thinking of two people with an honorable mention to WoW, but he is like my number 3. And then the other 2 are basically like Gary and Danny, because Gary started from the very back, and he got himself to P3, and Danny also went from the very back, but he also had a really good qualifying, which also happened today, so it like counts into drive of the day. And he got to the very back through no fault of his own, while Gary made a mistake to get there. So I think I would give Danny the edge, but like I can.
Yeah, I think I mean it all depends, and we should have a discussion about this at some point, as a league, as it were, as to whether driver of the day is driver of the day or whether it's driver of the race. Because I think my driver of the race probably was Gary. Coming from the very back of the grid and ending up P3. Danny certainly, yeah, no penalties for Danny. It wasn't his fault that he got yeeted to the back. So maybe Danny is my driver of the race as well. Certainly my driver of the day is Danny, no doubt about that. If we include qualifying. Yeah, so let's give it to Danny. I think that makes the decision easy.
Yeah, okay. I am totally okay with that. So, we'll go to the interviews.
I would say, I would say honorable mention to Tipsy.
Oh, true, yeah.
As well, for just having an excellent race. Just a really, really well-driven race from him. Bantz also, I mean, Bantz with the penalties makes it, you know, he would have had an extremely good result, but for the penalties. But certainly, oh, who is this? Okay, that's Icewind. All right. Bottling races says 85 in Discord. That's pretty.
What did you think? Did you think someone was memeing you, or I don't know?
No, I didn't. No, I just yeah, I just couldn't figure out who it was for a second. But then I saw 85, and yeah, that's always gonna be Icewind, isn't it? But someone who was born quite a few years after 85, I believe, is Mr. Wow, and he was the winner of this race. How worried were you at the end, Wow, when you got that third penalty?
Well, I saw the gap was around 9 seconds, and I thought Icewind was behind me with 9 seconds, and he also had some penalties as well. But then I figured that Pretorius actually overtook Icewind, so I had to I pushed the last lap very hard, deployed nearly all of my ERS, and got it over the line quite comfortably. And I think Pretorius as well got a penalty as well in the end. So
yeah, he did.
But it was worrying, and yeah, well, it's just Russia, I guess.
Yeah, just Russia things. But I mean, in terms of the race, it was yeah, I mean, just a brilliant drive. You were clearly the fastest car out there. I think certainly of the leaders that remained after the lap 1 crash, and yeah, you made it. You made it stick. So you must be. How are you feeling after that? You must be pleased.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, after I watched my mirrors and after turn 1 and saw that Danny, Hugo, and probably also Copy were like gone. I thought from this moment onward that it was my race to lose. So I tried to keep it. I tried to keep it clean. Kept it clean. I was without any penalties for longer than I usually am. But yeah, I just wanted to keep it as clean as possible, and I think that's what I did, except for one penalty. But yeah, I'm pretty much pleased with the first win of the season, actually.
Yeah, it's been a while coming.
Yeah, been a long time.
But yeah, you've. I mean, I think. I mean, I don't know whether the last few weeks. It seems to me, at least, as though you've got, like you've had just a bit of a surge the last few weeks. You've gotten a little bit faster. You've gotten yourself. I mean, not penalty free, but certainly fewer penalties than you had at the beginning of the season. So do you feel that way too, or is it? Do you feel as though you've not really sort of improved in that sort of basic way, as it were?
I think I did improve. It's just I generally take a few. I need some time to get used to the game. Figure out the best setups to get consistent. And in the last few weeks, I think I just did that. Found the good setups that suit my driving style. Got more consistent, not as consistent as I want to be, but the life cycle of this game is not over yet. So, yeah, I think there's still room for improvement, but it's been better since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And really good to see you pick up the first win. Are you feeling confident? I mean, it was a weird race today because a bunch of the leaders crashed. But you did start on pole, so you certainly had extremely good pace anyway. How are you feeling about the rest of the races? We got Suzuka next.
Yeah. I don't actually know if I'm here for Suzuka because I think there's an ICC race at the time.
Okay.
But if I'm
True,
actually
that's
here,
a thing.
huh? Sorry.
Yeah, true, that's a thing. It's true. We need to figure
Okay.
out what to do, but I mean, Mullers and I could do it while you drive us, and I don't know.
Guess what was it? But for the remaining races except Suzuka, I think there's America, Mexico, Brazil,
Yep.
and Abu Dhabi, if I'm correct.
Yep, I think you're right.
looking forward to America. I last game I liked this track very much. I hope it carried over to this game. Mexico is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be another like who gets the least amount of penalties. Brazil is a fun track as well. Always close racing. And yeah, Abu Dhabi is just I don't know. Could be fun, but
yeah, it usually isn't. Yeah.
yeah, it usually is exactly. But some good races to come, and we're looking forward. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely right. With good reason. Really good to see you at the front. And obviously your gaming weekend has gone pretty well with all of those really good misfortune games last night. So yeah, life pretty good right now.
Actually, yeah, I watched back my quad rocker. It was quite.
It was pretty epic. It was
Well,
pretty
nice
epic.
to see,
Why
yeah.
did you get a quadra kill?
Huh?
It's,
Yeah.
I was just telling the viewers that you did get a quadra kill. It's important news.
I did, yes.
All
Indeed.
right. Well,
All right.
well done, and thanks for talking to us. And yeah, we'll hope to see you. Hope to see you next week.
Yep. See ya. Bye.
Bye. That was Wow, who did manage to get himself the win today. Let's speak to our driver of the day, Mr. Danny Corporation, who is, I mean, that was a really good. Just talk us through a very good recovery drive. Obviously, just talk us through lap 1 from your perspective.
I got punted in the back and spin because of it. Nothing more about it.
Got hit in turn 2, and then I got hit in turn 3. Yeah. So yeah, that's it's unfortunate. I mean, I guess it was Copy who hit you, right? Having been hit from Hugo, is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Hugo's on the naughty list. We said we'd give him a 150 championship point penalty for that crash. So with the championships back on. But no, I mean, just in terms of like your race, you finished P4 with no penalties, having come through the field.
Could have been P3.
Could have been P3. What happened that?
The VSC at the end.
Oh right, okay.
As it started, I got a big stutter.
Oh.
And it put me from like 3.8 seconds from, I think it was Justin who was like 2 in the train to straight to like 5 seconds. And if I didn't have that, I'd have been in Gary's window as well, and I would have got a podium. But good game, good computer.
Yep, unfortunate. But I mean, certainly a fantastic drive. Really good to see. I mean, were you thinking after qualifying you were on the front row?
I was annoyed
with Hugo behind. Could you reckon you could have gone faster?
Miles faster.
What could you have done? Because you did a 30.0. It's a pretty fast lap.
I know the final sector, I was up 3 tenths into there, and then the last 2 corners just went to poop.
So 29.7 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty quick. I mean, I think Hugo's pole in rapid races last night was a 29.5, and that was with slipstream down the back straight. So it's only a tenth or so off that. That would have been a really good pole lap.
I have done a 0.3 in practice, which is why.
A 0.3. Yikes! Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Thank you.
How far is that off like the world record time trial time? Do you know?
4 tenths is 28.9 world record.
Okay. Wow, that's insane. Okay. So you're 4 tenths off the world record. That's I mean, you must be like, I mean, just in terms of your progress over the season, you've made such good progress. You must be really happy with that.
Kind of, yeah, but it could have been there since the start, which is the annoying thing.
But I think everyone's sort of improving constantly in SLR for the most part. It's everyone I think wishes they could get themselves a time machine and go back to the early iterations of the league with the skill that they have now. But I mean, just in terms of like where you are at the moment, do you feel? I mean, you're putting in the hours, obviously putting in the practice. Do you feel there's more to come from you?
Yes, a win.
A win. Do you still not have an SLR win?
No, I don't.
Man, that's That's got to be like, I don't know how many podiums you've had. It's a lot though, right?
Only a
It's
few.
no, it's only yeah, okay. I guess the first half of the season you were mostly sort of 4th or 5th. But yeah, I mean it'll come. Like there's no doubt about that. It could have come today if you'd not been tagged from behind. I think you would have had a very good shot today.
I would have had a very good shot.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, it'll come. But I mean, just a great drive today, and you can console yourself with the driver of the day, which I think is very much deserved. So yeah, good stuff, Danny. As good stuff. Any shout outs you want to give before we speak to, I think, Icewind?
Balance and Tipsy.
Yeah.
I think they nailed
Good
the
shout.
strategy.
Yeah, it was a great drive from both of them, honestly.
Pants got my set up 10 minutes before the race.
Hey, nice. Well, he was second half of the race. He was rapid. He pulled away a lot from the guys behind him, and only penalties really. So yeah, good stuff from Bance. It's good to see. All right, well, yeah, well done on the P4, and we'll speak to you again next week, I'm sure. That was Danny. Thanks very much for talking to us, and we will speak to Mr. Icewind, who for a while there in the first stint, Icewind, you were, I think, well, I'm sure actually the fastest car on track. I guess you had the fresh softs, but you had to make your way through the field as well. So I guess. Sorry, go on.
But they were not fresh. But
were they not fresh?
I used all my softs in the.
Oh right, okay. So yeah, in which case that's even more impressive that you were so fast in the first stint.
No, I mean everybody who would have been, as you saw in quali, I was 1 second off, and that was pretty much what I was in the race as well. But like everybody crashed. I don't even know what happened on the first lap, because after lap 2, on lap 2, I just on the back straight I looked at the positions and I was like, what? I'm in P6 somehow.
Yeah, they all crashed. That was what happened.
And then it was just driving around, picking up the usual penalties, being slow, not really being able to do anything at all in the race. So,
well, you say being slow, but you were. I mean, you finished the race 10 seconds behind. Wow, and after you made your way through the pack, you were at least 5 or 6 seconds behind Wow. So you only lost a few seconds to Wow, who is very fast. He qualified on pole. So it seemed to me at least as though your race pace was quite a lot better than your qualifying pace.
I don't know. It was all over the place, really, my laps. I was just making mistakes all the time, but I haven't driven a single lap since Monday, so that practice session we did with you. So.
Oh yeah. Oh well. I mean, it's still like, and the result. I think you ended up P5 or
P6. I think.
P6. Okay. But yeah, I mean that's that's solid points in a day where you had 9 or 12 seconds worth of penalties.
9, I think.
9. Okay. So yeah, I mean, just again in terms of the pace, it looked like you were there or thereabouts at the front to me, at least on race pace.
Nah, I mean,
no. Okay.
if you count Hugo, Gary, Danny, whoever else was at the back there, Copy, they would have been like way much faster than me. So no,
I think that,
no chance for me on this track.
Maybe they would have been, maybe they would have been a little bit up the road. But certainly Wow was in that bracket in qualifying, and he was, he was running without DRS, I guess. But yeah, he was fast as well.
I mean, I was running without DRS for like 20 laps there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you had Pretorius behind you.
Pretorius with 10% battery for I don't even know how many laps, but
yeah. Well, we got Suzuka next, and I know we did Were you in the practice session we did earlier this week for Suzuka?
No.
No, you weren't. Okay.
How
are you feeling about Suzuka? Oh, you haven't done a lot.
I have absolutely no idea on this game. I mean, the track is great, but I have my doubts. It's kind of been the other way around. Those tracks I like, I'm absolutely terrible on, and those tracks that I don't like, I had some sort of pace, but I honestly don't know. It kind of depends. Do I have any time to practice at all next week again? So we'll see.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
It's been a bit of a crappy week coming. I mean, I can't speak, but in regards to that, I thought
Okay.
that's English.
Oh, by the way, did you
Roughly
see it?
anyway.
I took your car yesterday in rapid races and I got P6. So
No,
that was-
I was not home at all last night, so
Okay.
yeah, okay, that's nice. That's a better result than I've done in any race there, so
Well, you finished P6 today, so you know that was.
yeah. But considering like 5 of the much faster guys were taken off, so
All
yeah.
right. Before you go, Icewind, you need to. I think you need to take Tipsy Bob's advice in chat and say something good about yourself. Damn it, he says. So you need to say something good about yourself.
If
We
there
need to
was
hear that on
something
stream.
positive to say about this race, the only positive thing is that I got very lucky. That's all, but that's not really.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
Some people were saying in quali, like I invalidated my lap, and somebody in BC said it was unlucky, but it has absolutely nothing to do with luck. I just made a mistake and invalidated my lap. So
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that is true. That's people say unlucky when it's not really luck. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel as though you particularly benefited. Like you made your way through the field very well in that first stint, and you had to do it sort of the relatively hard way, even though the leaders crashed. So, but
yeah.
Oh well done. It's really good points in any case. So well done on the result. And yeah, we'll wish you well. Are you? We weren't actually sure in qualifying. Are you you're full time now, right? You're still full time in tier 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, so we'll see you next week then in Suzuka. That's good to hear.
Yep. Hopefully, I'll get to do some practice for that.
All right. Cool. Well, that was Icewind. Thanks for talking to us, Icewind. Really appreciate it. Who is always very self-critical, shall we say? But yeah, I thought he drove a good race at least. Who are we missing? We got
The eternal
Bailey and we
argument,
got
trying to convince Iceman that he drove a good race. You tried really well. You're getting better at these arguments.
I gave it my best shot. How are we doing for time? We got time to speak to Mr. Bailey Thompson.
If he's here for an interview, sure, yeah.
Is he here for Mr. Bailey Thompson? He is here for an interview, Mr. Bailey Thompson, who
now he is.
Got pretty unlucky at the start there. What happened, Bailey?
Well, I'm coming down to turn 1. I was there, and Hugo decided, you know what? Turning left seems interesting. Let's do that, and he decides to put me there.
Correction. I know what happened. Hugo's rear-ended Copy, and Copy lost it going left.
I'm talking about the action.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry. I tried to correct you and now I'm wrong. Goddamn. Huh?
The second part, I don't know. It just looked at me that Copy just went, no, screw you. You're in the wall now. I just...
You got it.
I don't know. Yeah, but I continued with the wing damage on the mediums, and then I lost it again in the wall. There was like 35% because once I disconnected, the AI decided, you know what, let's rag them. And I came back with like 10% battery, 35% tire wear, so I wasn't gonna make it to the end anyway. So I boxed for another fresh set of mediums, and then around lap 17, when I retired, I come down onto the back straight, and I'm on board of Icewind's car.
What?
I am on the onboard screen of Icewind, but still controlling my car.
What?
Oh, who was it that had that? Somebody had that in Rapid Races yesterday as well.
What?
I forget who.
But
yeah, that is a thing apparently.
In, Tier 1 General, and it's just like, I was racing, I was there, and the only thing I could do was pause it and retire, which was obviously the safest option. I wasn't gonna ruin someone's race for not my fault, but not his fault either.
Hey, that sounds like a fun game mode actually.
Where did you post it?
Be on board with the car
Tier
behind
1
you
General
while you're controlling your own car. That sounds fun.
I'm wondering if I can put
But
that on stream.
I mean that really sucks.
You might be able to.
Yeah, I'm just thinking I would have to do things in OBS.
I'm recording. Is that as audio to it as well? It's like me speaking.
Yeah, exactly. What?
Yeah.
What? Huh? But okay.
Very epic.
This is worth trying to be put on the stream. You can talk. You can go on. I'm trying to figure this out.
the stint after, like with the mediums, I had the pace to keep with WoW if I didn't have the wing damage, but I obviously had to pit. And then I think before the disconnect, I'd worked out that once everyone had pitted, I'd be around P5, and then the disconnects happened, which my internet didn't go off, as Steam didn't go offline. The game just kicked me out for no reason. It wasn't like an Eagle thing. It was like it said Steam. I'd lost connection to Steam when I hadn't. So it's just, I guess it's just one of those things.
Let's audio safe for stream or?
No.
So we're doing it without audio. That's but yeah. Is there a point without audio? Yeah, you can see
so
stop on.
It's the full on board. Yeah, he's got the full on board.
You can even see. This is so ridiculous.
Like that's my ERS. Like that's his ERS. That's his tires.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Like.
Okay. Well, now we know. That is absolutely ridiculous. Wait, how did it happen? You rejoined and that's what you saw, or what?
No, it was like 5-6 laps later.
In the middle of the. When did it happen?
When coming onto the back straight.
You were driving and suddenly you see Icewind.
I was driving normally and then I'm just on board of Icewind's car.
That's actually brilliant.
That is bizarre. But yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody had the same thing in Rapid Races yesterday.
Okay.
So yeah, because that was the first time that I'd heard of that bug.
Would have been even funnier had you been able to control Icewind's car.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I thought happened at first. I was like, am I controlling this Alfa Romeo? And I started turning my wheel in the direction of Icewind's corner, and then I think my car slammed into the wall. So, and I just retired. It's like I think I've retired like 4 races in a row. Obviously, this one just wasn't my fault. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, this was bad luck. And your pace. I mean, I know I spoke to you earlier in the week when we did the practice, and you were pretty confident about your pace, and it, you were very quick. So that must be. I mean, that must be encouraging. We got Suzuka to come. How are you feeling about that?
I love Suzuka. Favorite track on the calendar. I did some practice with the Tier 4 boys. I think I was running a Francer by a 26.5 on a mediocre lap. So I don't know whether that's crazy quick.
I think I did a 26.8. So and that felt like an okay lap. Yeah, I would think high 25s will be the pole time. But certainly, yeah, I mean that seems like it's decently fast to me. And if you got more to come, then I think you'll be towards the sharp end. It seems to be.
Yep. Well, that's not really much else to say. It's just that this game just gets more and more awful each day.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
Every day we stray further from God.
Yeah.
Oh well, bad luck today, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that that your luck turns around next week, because yeah, it would be good to see you fighting and mixing it up with the boys at the sharp end of the grid.
Yeah, I know I've got the pace too. I just need to. Translate it.
Absolutely. All right. Any shout-outs you want to give before we I think end the stream?
I don't have any shout-outs. Codemasters for making a top-tier game. They definitely go for how much Take-Two paid for them. I think it was something like 900 million or something.
Yeah.
I can tell you, like, Codemasters is not worth that much.
Well, as long as we keep buying it, unfortunately, yes.
Unlucky.
Okay, so.
Oh, well. Thanks for joining us, Bailey.
Yeah, great.
Oh, sorry, Bailey. I cut you off. I didn't mean to. But yeah, I think that anybody else that wants to. I guess Astro Boys is in.
Time is getting.
Chat. Do we have? Yeah, we don't have time. Sorry, Astro. Sorry, I didn't see you until just now. We'll speak to you next week. If you're there for Suzuka. So yeah. All right. You wanna wrap us up?
Oh, sure. So, well, that was Russia. I'm sure you're aware by now. And tomorrow there's going to be more Russia, as always with Tier 2 and Tier 1 of 2 several. So we're gonna see how that plays out, and if there's going to be some close racing. I would expect Cody and Yugos to give it their best, and maybe we'll be able to see what Yugos can do when he doesn't have a big crash in turn 2. And that's definitely worth checking out in my opinion. And then as Bailey and Tara already said, we're going to Suzuka next week, and that one is definitely a fan favorite. It's like, I think one of the big 3 that we always like consider first for EGL, because they are like, it's like such a great track for racing and for driving as well on this new game. I mean, we've forgotten the last game by now, I think, but if you remember the amount of understeer you had in that game compared to how smooth it goes now, and it was fun to drive in 2019 already, it's going to be amazing in 2020, I think, with the front-end downforce these cars have now.
Yeah,
and
the S is a really great.
Yeah, yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to driving it. I'm also looking forward to commentating it, 130R, some side-by-side moments maybe, and I hope you are looking forward to watching it, and be there next week. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.